Hi everyone, it's Josh from the Collective back again, here with a new deck, um, K9 Solfachord. So Solfachord is getting some new support in Dual Dimensions, and they have a broken level 5. I'm here with Krishan and Nayan.
Hello.
Hello.
They've been labbing the deck, testing it, and we've got some combos, and we're going to go through all the cards. So the first one I guess we can talk through is Noroi, which is the new K9 card.
Sure. So Nori's basically Ice Rise Duel for the deck who summons K9 prop deck. It's very useful for making Saryuja because it helps you just print more bodies. So K9 pretty much bridges into anything if you're playing enough engine now. And the main thing you need to watch out for is just that the monster you summon off of it locks you into K9s while it's on the field. You can just easily make that. It also has another bonus effect to look at your opponent's hand by sending a face-up K9 card to your control, which is very useful. There's some applications with like you look at your hand, you don't like what your opponent's hand is, you can flip back rental, which is a nice second thing you can do.
And we also have all the Solfachord cards. So the one that lets you synergize really well with the K9 package is quite similar to Crystron. In Solfachord, you have Solfachord Gracia. The pendulum effect isn't the most relevant because it's a pendulum scale 4. You're often not scaling it because your pendulum summon is quite important in this deck. But this is what bridges you together because you have Joku and Gracia. It makes an insane first turn combo. Most important effect here is if this card is normal special summon, you get to add a Solfachord spell or trap from your deck to your hand. So similarly to Crystron, Joku plus Gracia is an insane 2-card combo going first, but also going second. Even into things like Cookie Yummy, you have the on-summon effect of Gracia, which lets you beat those kind of interruptions.
Yeah, so QTO, the scale effect, the scale effect doesn't matter. The first monster effect isn't that important either, but it's on summon, it just adds a Solfachord monster. So slightly, it can't add the spell traps, which isn't the best, but like being able to normal it, unless you open like Jokor and Cutia, just go like normal Cutia add Gracia, and then Jokor for Gracia, and then you can go from there. Like, it's by far the worst starter, but we're playing 3 of it, because we're not up our fairy camp for Herald to be live.
Yeah, and that is one massive advantage of this deck. Herald of Orange Light is probably one of the best hand trap in the game if your deck is able to play it. Like it has like a similar role to Call by the Grave going first. Card's just insane, and all the Solfachords are fairies. The final old card is Solfachord Elegance.
Yeah, so it has 3 effects. Most of the time we are using the second effect, which is to add 1 Solfachord monster from your extra deck to your hand to the extra deck, and you get to place 2 scales. So it's pretty much just saying up your 3. The other 2 effects are relevant with some other variants of the decks, or if you want to do some like funky stuff with Super Heavy Samurai, for example. And the last effect is quite nice. Notably, the last effect doesn't actually have to send Solfachord monsters from your scale. So if you're playing a hybrid version of the deck, that can also come.
Yeah, so those are all the old cards, and looking at all the Solfachord cards, the old ones, they're pretty much the only good ones. New cards carry insanely. So the first one we've got is Solfachord Primoria. The first thing that's great about this card is it's pen scale 0. So it lets you pen summon out extra copies of itself, and it lets you pen scale out extra copies of the QTR, which is really strong. And then on Pendulum Summon, Pen Zone lets you bounce one of your Solfachords in the Pendulum Zone. So that lets you open up your scales for other things. And also it bounces itself, so it then can become live for things like Herald of Orange Light and the Herald of Mirage Light. And then the reason this card is so good is it has 2 really strong effects. So on summon, it lets you add any Solfachord card. So it's just an upgraded version of QTR, letting you add the Elegance or the new spell card that we'll go over in a second. So because of the new spell card that we'll go over, Primoria is actually a 1-card combo, which is great. And then also, if it's on the field while you link summon a Solfachord monster, you get to add a Solfachord card from your grave or extra deck to your hand. And the new spell that we'll go over isn't once per turn. So this adds it, and then later on lets you loop it, which is amazing.
So, Solfachord. So in this scale, it's similar to Rise Zero Cross. So it's whenever you controlled a Grand Solfachord monster, which are any of the extra monsters, it can literally act as a negate on res, but then it destroys itself. So like, being able to like just have a negate pretty early and like being able to like a large dragon link, a dragon tail chain link, you can just hold it for the last card. If it don't go through Ogala, it's really strong. You can just negate the Arthalion to try to chain block it. And then its monster effect isn't the best, but it's a decent extender. So if you control no monsters, or all monsters you control are Solfachord monsters, you special it from the hand. And then it's got a second effect, which is where you can special a Solfachord from hand, or if you tribute this card on activation, you can special one from grave or extra deck. So like sometimes you can summon Solfegia and then tribute it and summon a Glacier from extra deck if you need an extra 5 for K9 cards. But yeah, its main effect is being Endboard piece with the Negator Res.
Yeah, so
Something
it does
else?
contribute to 2-card combos, and also I think you're going to say, Krishan, it's an odd scale, and
Yeah.
Yes.
the Solfachord spells and traps require you to have odd and even scales, and there's no other playable odd scale
scale.
Solfachord.
There are some combos using main deck Coolia, if you want to play that, which does make your ceiling a lot higher, but you have to play a lot of extra deck bricks. And you also need to play the other Link 2. So you can see this here. If you play Musicia, the Link 2, it lets you add a Solfachord monster with a scale equal to a level. Since you're playing a lot of level 1s, you can add Coolia very easily because it's a scale 1. So this can allow you to set up 2 odd scales, and Coolia is technically a disruption, but we thought it was just a little bit too bricky to play in this.
Okay, and then the last card, the last new card. This card is just insane. Disgusting. So the first line of text is similar to the Pearly Cook play spell. The Pearly Cook play spell? The Yummy Cook play spell. Yummy Surprise. Yeah, so Yummy Surprise, you can use, if you have 3 copies, you can use all 3 effects in a turn. Then Happiness, the same thing. Which you'll normally use first is discard a card, and if you do add 2 Solfachord Pendulum monsters with different scales from your deck to your hand, then you can special summon Solfachord Pendulum monsters from your hand up to the number of monsters your opponent controls plus 1. So going first, this is discard a card for effect. So if it gets negated, you don't have to discard. Discard a card for effect. Summon 1 from deck and add 1 from deck to hand. And going second, it can be add 2 from deck to hand and just spit out your whole hand. And worst case going second, it's just an E-Telly 2 from deck. So this first effect is just insane. And of course, this card has to be a 1-card combo. Like, access 2 cards from deck is just insane, and then it's really accessible. And then the second effect is insane. So when you add it back in most of the combos, second effect lets you pendulum summon again. So you have to pendulum summon Solfachords, but you just add it back with the Primora second effect when you link summon to add back a Solfachord card. And then you just get another pendulum summon, which is amazing. And then the final effect lets you summon 2 Solfachord cards from your pendulum zone. That effect hasn't come up much for me, but it's nice that you have that extra utility if you want to just bring out the things in your pendulum zones. Zekia. This card is quite high value. We won't go over it because we're not playing it, but there are some lines that use it, and it does look like it adds a lot of value, but it doesn't really. It's not as good as Beyond the Pendulum, which just lets you pay 2 after add a pendulum monster from deck to hand. You always want to make this instead. And whenever you have enough material to make a Link 3, you're normally making the Grad Solfachord Coolia Link 3.
So it's pretty much just normally negate, but it gains some attack for each monster in your face effect deck, which is quite nice, gets pretty big. The activated effects your pendulum monsters points you can't be negated. That's not 100% relevant for this build, but there are some wacky stuff you can do with the Zarkrat, which I'm sure you've seen in YouTube combos before. But the main part of it is when your opponent activates a card or effect, summon an odd scale, and then negate pretty much. And yeah, just only negate good. What can I say?
Yeah, and it also adds 1 from your deck to your extra deck, so it even gets you a little bit more follow up. And it has 3 down pointing zones. So this card is just an insanely custom Link 3. We'll go through the combos and we'll look at those. This is the 1-card combo, Solfachord Happiness, and Krishan's going to talk us through it.
Yeah, so pretty much you actually Happiness uses its first effect to add discarding the Ash Blossom here for cost. You can add Gracia here and Primoria. You're probably going to want to summon the Gracia because it's level 5, so you can't really normal summon it. So we'll do that here. Then we will add the second spell, Elegance. And we haven't used our normals, so we can use that on Primoria. Notably, this combo is very similar if you open Primoria instead of Happiness. Instead of here, you just audio search is the other way around. So not too hard to figure out. Now we want to set up our scale, so we can use Elegance's effect to place 2 from the deck by placing the Kuja into the extra deck, and we can pendulum summon that later, which is always nice. So we're going to scale the scale 0 and the scale 9 because it gives us the most range, and the 9 will also give us the negate and resolution and our odd scale for Grand Solfachord Kulia. Next, we're going to go into Beyond. This is how most of the combos go in Pendulum, to be fair. You're just going to make Beyond the Pendulum.
Yeah, just cut out.
Oh.
Yeah, just go.
So yeah, next. Yeah, we're going to make Beyond the Pendulum here. And we're going to add another Gracia. We want to add Gracia here so we have all 3 of them in rotation for our K9 card. Now we're free to Pendulum Summon. We want to make sure we're summoning the Q-tier so we can use this effect, so you can see here, and the Primoria so we can bounce back a spell in a second tier. So we're going to add the 3rd Gracia for our K9 cards in a second. But now we're free to make the Grand Solfachord Kulia to get the negate online. Since it was summoned, we can bounce back the spell from graveyard to our hand. And now we're free to use this effect to gain an extra pendulum. So we do need to leave 1 Gracia in hand for Jokel, as you'll see in a second, but we're free to go into our K9 card. Standard K9 stuff, Ripper effects, grab Jokel. Yeah, I'm sure you'll understand how this bit works. And we're going to grab Lantern. We do need to link off our Jokel, importantly, to make sure it's in the grave for Lantern. So we will just make an IP here. And we have 2 level 1s, so we can make a rank 1. We're using Ensemble Robin here, but you can also use, there are other options you can use.
Starling.
Oh yes, Recital Starling.
Yeah.
Yep, we can finish off by making another rank 5 and searching the rank up. Importantly, when we do our Pendulum Summon, we are also able to bounce back one of our scales, so probably the scale 0 here. I didn't do it in this combo just because there's no need to, but it's something you can do if you want to get more and keep your scales on board. So yep, this is the M board. You can see here, we'll go through the disruptions. We have Ripper Negate, which will sometimes come up, Valon to Book, IP into SP, and if you want, you can link off the Valon to get the target of a set card, which sometimes comes up, but very rarely. 2 bounces from Ensemble Robin, and with the Link monster, unfortunately in this combo you're only able to search 1 copy of the Solfachord. So you either get the negate on res from Solfachord or the Omni negate from Kulia. You can't get both in this combo, but it gives you options. Say if you get Imperm on Kulia or Dark Rulers, you still have a couple of interrupts left.
And that's also if you open any of the Solfachord cards you searched throughout this turn, you can just search a Solfachord, and when you Pendulum Summon, bounce the Primoria, and you still get both. And also, if you want to try and make this board a little bit more layered, instead of the Lantern searching the Force Release, you can search the Case for K9 and search an Izuna, and then also the Ensemble Robin can search the DD Crow. So you can actually search 2 hand traps in this combo, which is insane. So the next combo is Jokel plus Gracia, the custom hand.
This is basically like Jokel Solfachord, if you know, you know. Like, it's so much nicer playing with the Solfachord cards than the Krishan cards, as you'll see in the combo. So first play is obviously Jokel summon Gracia, because you have nothing else to do. Then Gracia on summon will add Happiness. And then Jokel will add Lantern. This combo is very safe through hand traps because we can make an early Ripper. So you go Ripper, detach, add, and with Lantern bring back Jokel. And of Lantern, we can either add the rank up or we can add Case, but we'll usually rank up for this scenario. And we have to go the pen now. Sadly, we can only discard Izuna because obviously 2-card combo. But if you have the rest of the hand, we can discard something else. So we add our Primoria and Q-tier. So we'll special the Primoria off of Happiness, and then we'll trigger Primoria here. This will add Elegance, so we can place our scales. So they give Elegance second effect. We put back Q-tier in the extra deck, and we place the other 2 scales. Then from here, we link into Beyond. Yeah. And then Beyond, we'll add Gracia. And then we'll pen summon, because otherwise we'll be locked. So we'll just pen out all three. So we can trigger QTA now to add the second copy of Solfachord. And then we link into the link 3. So for the gate, we'll also try to trigger Primoria here to add back happiness. So we can use the second effect. So we'll go to second effect now just to get an extra pendulum. So then we'll link the 2 bodies off, so we have extra room on our board for IP. And then we'll pend again. So we'll pend 2 from extra deck. And then we'll bounce back to the scale, so we can remove it, so we can place Solfachord in scale, so we can get both the negate on res and Cooley to be live. And then we overlay into rank 5, and then we normal Primoria to make either Ensemble Robin or Assemble Nightingale. So it looks very similar to the other board, but we get both the negate on res and we get Cooley because both of our scales are Solfachord. Because Cooley has to summon one of the scales. It has to summon an odd scale, sorry. And the only odd scale we play is Solfachord. So we get both in the scale. It means you get access to both negate on res and the Omni negate.
So the final combo is just any 2/5s. It doesn't have to be another Jokel here, but we've got 2 Jokels here. It's kind of to show the strength of Noroi and how it can pretty much bridge into anything thanks to Saryuja. So we'll start with that. Yep, so Jokel, reveal your other 5. And get them up, and then we'll Jokel search for Noroi. And we'll normal summon the Noroi. Obviously, your opponent will need 2 or more cards in hand for this. So we'll do that. Summon Izuna. We do want to use the Izuna effect here to dump, so there's less cards in our deck, so we're more likely to draw the Solfachord starters. So we'll send the Lupus here.
And you
See in a second. Then we'll use the Ripper. We'll grab Case. We grab Case here so we can get a sneaky look at the hand, as you'll see in a second. Yep, so we get to look at the opponent's hand, which is very nice for the information. We'll bring back Lupus here, just, and get the free rank up, because why not? And as you see here, 4 bodies, they are all going to go into Saryuja. It's roughly a 80% chance to draw either Happiness, Primoria, or Gracia, which is one of the cards you want to, which are the cards that will bridge you into the full end board. I think there should be 29 cards left in deck, which you have the other 3 cards in hand, but yeah, it's all there. So we've just used Primoria for this example, but any of those in the chat there do work. So yeah, standard Solfachord stuff, grab the Happiness. Happiness will then add the Gracia and another card. And we search 1 spell, so we're going to grab the other here to help us set up our scales. Yeah. So we do need to link off the Saryuja for Beyond, because it only triggers when it's summoned in the extra monster zone. So we'll do that here. We don't really need a link for anything anyway.
So then you get the second level 5 Gracia here, and still haven't used the QTA to search.
Oh, bit of a mistake there. That should have been the extra deck. So yeah, I'll get the QTA search for the second Solfachord to make sure we have the negate and res and the Omni from Cooley live. So we'll clear up our board a little bit, make a Valon, and then we can make the Grand Solfachord Cooley.
It's so insane that this triggers to get back your happiness, and then you get your happiness for the second pen summon once again. And then you have the option here between IP or either of the rank 1s, and also Herald of Mirage Lights to get 2 spell trap negates.
Yep.
So with 2 Jokels, not even drawing any Solfachord engine in your opening hand, you get to all this with Ripper as your 5th summon, which is incredible. So you have the Solfachord to negate, like Rise Your Cross on res, and then you have the Cooley to negate and summon. You have Valon to book, you have IP to link off Valon for a pop, and then both of SP's interruptions, Ripper interrupt, Force Release to pop, and Werewolf to look at hand. And you still have this Lupus Engrave. So yeah, just to go through some of the other options that you can play for the deck. Obviously, we have this sample deck list here. We've got the DD Crow and the Recital Starling. So one thing you could do is you could take out the Force Release from the main deck and just put it in going first. And then you could put the Recital Starling and the DD Crow in for game one, because DD Crow is a better draw. And then one of the Solfachords you could decide to play in the side deck is Elitia, who on summon targets a spell trap and returns it to the hand, which is a nice tech option. And then we also have some other rank 5s that you could play. So Arc Rebellion for OTK lines, Nash Knight. You have to play a decent bit of extra package to sort in some of the combos, but it does reduce how much flexibility you have. We're just assuming Dice Smasher is getting banned, but there are some combos that do summon Dice Smasher. But Dude does come out in about a month, and at that point, this card should not be legal.
Yeah, if this card's legal now, it's over.
And then 5 Rainbow Magician is searchable off of Beyond the Pendulum. So that's Floodgate you can search. And then we have the 2 other Herald of Light. If you are really scared of Draco Tail Trap cards.
Yeah.
They're cool options. It's really nice to have those options in a fairy deck.
Yeah, like for Purple Light isn't bad against the Vanquish or Trap either, because that can be like as hard trap to force out.
Also have Diviner of the Heralds. Because they're fairies, you can summon them off Diviner's second effect when distributed. So you can play a package of Diviner and Shrius to summon these from the deck. And then Disablaster is a level 5 Pendulum, which is pretty cool. So you can search it off Beyond. You can make Beyond with it, and it helps you make the K9s. But yeah, this is a really cool deck coming out in Dude. Gracia synergizes so well with the K9 cards, and Happiness is just such a powerful card that the combos are so strong. And it does also have quite a solid non-engine count, with, in this list specifically, 3 Ash, 3 Fua, 3 Imperm, 3 Orange Light making 12, plus a 3 Izuna 15. And then if you replace the Force Release for DD Crow, that's 16 non-engine, plus Solfachord Happiness, which is such a stronger second card, just being able to summon 2 from deck. If you guys are interested in a spreadsheet, Krishan and Nayan have been putting a lot of work into their own private spreadsheet, and they'd be happy to add more combos and make it public if that's something you're interested in. Let us know in the comments down below, and make sure to like the video and subscribe. And thanks a lot to Krishan and Nayan for labbing out the deck, figuring out some lines, and letting me know about it. Is there anything you guys want to say before we wrap it up?
Thank you guys all for watching, and yeah, come to Europa Regional.
Yeah, thank you for having us, Josh. We appreciate the shout-outs.
Yeah, this deck is really cool. I'm really happy you guys showed me this. And yeah, Europa Regionals is happening in 2 weeks in London. There's insane prizing. I think it's half a case for first place. QCR Ash Blossoms being given out. Raffles all day. It's going to be an amazing event.
Yeah, side events, everything. Air fryer. Oof,
the classic air fryer.
I need that air fryer, bro.
I really want an air fryer. I really hope I win that.
I need for uni. Allow me.
Yeah, thanks for watching.